And it really is an alternative for many parents to yelling, shouting or smacking their children when they're not cooperating.
Michaela, don't throw the toys. Keep them on the table, please.
What's involved is that you either remove the child to the edge of the activity as a consequence for not cooperating, or you ask them to go and sit in a particular spot in the same room where the problem has occurred.
Michaela, you threw the toys, so now it's quiet time. Okay, right, Michaela, I want you to sit here quietly for a minute.
Act quickly when you see problem behaviour. Get close, gain your child's attention and tell them exactly what to do. If the problem behaviour stops, praise your child for doing as you asked. If it continues, tell your child what they've done wrong and that the consequence is quiet time. When you take your child to quiet time, ignore protests, don't argue or nag, and don't debate the point. Tell your child they must be quiet in quiet time for a set period, and when the time is up, allow them to rejoin the activity and praise them as soon as they behave well.
Okay, Michaela, quiet time's finished. You can come back.
What are you going to make, Michaela?
That's very good playing with the Play-Doh.
When you first begin to use quiet time to manage misbehaviour, your child may seem confused. After you've used quiet time to manage a certain behaviour a number of times, they will begin to understand what to expect if they break the ground rules. You can ask older children to sit on the floor or on a chair for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, they still won't believe she's having... Ow!
A toddler's cot or playpen can be used as the quiet place from the age of about 18 months onwards.
Short periods of quiet time are more effective than longer periods. 1 minute is usually enough.
Remember, it's very important for children in quiet time that they're not receiving any attention, and of course if they're not sitting quietly and therefore not following the rules of quiet time, you take them to time out as a backup. Time out involves removing your child from the situation where the problem is occurring for a short period of time. It can be used as a backup to quiet time or as a consequence for something more serious such as a temper tantrum or aggressive behaviour that involves hurting others.
Justin, it's time for preschool. Put your shoes on, please.
No.
It's time for preschool. You've got to put your shoes on.
No.
Okay, it's time for quiet time. Come on.
In this example, quiet time is used at first,
You need to sit here quietly for 1 minute. Okay.
and when the child doesn't stay in quiet time, the parent uses time out as a backup.
Justin, you haven't stayed in quiet time. It's time for time out. Come on.
Time out has the advantage of helping children learn self-control and learn acceptable alternative behaviour. Another advantage is that it requires you, the parent, to remain calm and to give everyone a chance to calm down.
The timeout room is important. It should be uninteresting, so your child's bedroom is probably not the best place. It should be safe, well lit and well ventilated. Prepare the room before you need it.
If you use your bathroom, child-proof it. Make sure you put away anything that might be dangerous to the child. For children who can understand words, you can explain what will happen if rules are broken before misbehaviour actually occurs. Children can be shown what to expect during pretend play with dolls or by being walked through the steps of the timeout routine.
Act quickly when a problem occurs. Get close and gain your child's attention. Tell them to stop what they're doing and then tell them what they should be doing. If your child cooperates, then you praise them for doing as you asked. If your child does not cooperate, tell them the problem and the consequences, such as, "You've not done as I asked, now you must go to timeout." Take your child to timeout immediately. Try to remain calm but firm. If your child is struggling or resisting, pick them up and carry them.
As you put your child in the timeout area, remind your child of the rules. That is, that they need to be quiet for a minute before they'll be allowed out. You can leave the door open, however be prepared to close the door if the child tries to run away or to get out of timeout. When your child is in timeout, ignore all misbehaviour.
Jay, when you've been quiet for 1 minute, you may come out of timeout.
You've got to be prepared for the storm. It may include kicking or screaming or calling out. But you need to be prepared to persist in this situation. If the child gets a lot of attention or they get an audience for what they're doing in timeout, then they're more likely to play up and be noisy next time. They have to go to timeout.
Jay, you've been quiet for 1 minute, you may come out of timeout now.
If you used timeout to manage misbehaviour, after timeout is over, don't talk about the incident, let it pass. Try to involve your child in another activity, and when you see them behaving well, praise and encourage them. If your child was taken to timeout because of non-compliance, return your child to the situation and repeat your instruction. If the problem occurs again, be prepared to repeat the timeout routine.
When you're using timeout, it's important to keep track of how often you use it. So write down each time you have to put your child in timeout and how long it takes them before they're actually quiet. What you should find is that your need for using timeout should decrease over the first couple of weeks, so that on the first day a child may have to go into timeout 4 or 5 times or more, but by the end of the first week you should be often seeing a marked reduction in how often they need to go into timeout. If problems are still persisting after the second week of using timeout, then be prepared to seek professional advice.
Sometimes parents have tried a version of timeout and found that it didn't work. Timeout will not work if timeout is not used decisively. Timeout is used inconsistently. For instance, if parents occasionally give their child attention before timeout is over. The child has been allowed to decide when to come out. The child comes out of timeout while they're still upset. What's happening out of timeout is not fun and interesting. For instance, some children may prefer going to timeout rather than following a difficult instruction. In this case, another strategy, such as teaching your child to communicate what they want or brief interruption, may be more appropriate. We've just seen a variety of strategies for managing misbehaviour. We saw how to use diversion to another activity, set ground rules, and use directed discussion to deal with rule breaking. How to deal with some behaviour problems by ignoring them, and how to give clear instructions to a child. We explained the strategies of teaching children to communicate what they want. Logical consequences, blocking, brief interruption, quiet time, and timeout. Before you use new strategies, discuss the plan with your partner and anyone else in a caring role with your child, such as teachers, therapists or respite carers. Keep track of how it goes.
Yes, he wouldn't get in the car for preschool.
Okay.
So he had to have another lot of time out. Okay, Rose, let's give that routine a bit of a practice run so that you're feeling comfortable with it by the time you go home. What we'll do is take turns in being the parent and the child and just run through the routine. I'll be the parent first of all, and when we run through the routine the first time, what I'll ask you to do is to do as I ask as a child. So we'll run through this side of the routine, and then I'll follow up with some praise. Okay, and then I'll evaluate how I went, and then it'll be your turn to be the parent. Does that sound okay? All right. So if we were to pick a situation where you would like Tyson to follow an instruction, what situation could we use?
Tidying up.
Okay, all right. So if I was to give an instruction for Tyson to start tidying up, let's imagine in this role play that I've given you some forewarning. Maybe we're ready to go out soon. So he knows it's time to tidy up soon, and then they'll come in with the final instruction to do that. Right, so if you were Tyson, where would you be playing?
On the floor.
On the floor? Let's do that, shall we? Okay, so let's start the role play. Tyson, it's time to go. Put your blocks in the red box, please. Oh, great tidying up. Thank you. Okay, that's it. Finished? Okay, so let's have a look at how that went. So I've given a clear, calm instruction on your eye level, down on your eye level, and I've waited, and you've actually done as I've asked fairly quickly, and then I've followed up with some descriptive praise. Okay, so how do you feel about that? Any thoughts or ideas?
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, so let's give you a turn.
Okay.
I'll be Tyson. Okay, so let's start the role play.
Tyson, please put your blocks into the box for Mum. Good boy.
It's finished? Yes. Okay. Okay, so how did that go, Rose?
Good.
Okay. What went well?
Well, I got down on your eye level and got your attention by saying your name. I told you what it was that I was wanting you to do, and I just like waited, and you did what I asked you to do, and then I praised you.
Okay.
The only thing I did think about is the praise.
Okay.
I like said, good boy.
Okay. So in terms of the things that went well, you got down on my eye level and gave me a calm, clear instruction about what you wanted me to do. And then you wanted to do something differently with the praise, is that right? So what could you say instead?
Thank you, Tyson, for tidying away the blocks like Mummy asked.
Excellent. Let's now try going down the other way, pathway where you're not following my instructions. I have to give that instruction twice, wait 5 seconds between each. And when you haven't done as I've asked, I'll take you through to quiet time. I'll give you the instruction to stay there for 2 minutes and then bring you out and return you to the original scenario and ask you again to do as I asked. Okay, you ready to go? Let's try that again. Tyson, it's time to go. Put your blocks away in the red box, please.
No.
Tyson, it's time to go. You need to put your blocks in the red box, please.
No, I'm building.
Tyson, you haven't done as I've asked. You need to come to quiet time. Tyson, you haven't done as I've asked, so you need to stay in quiet time for 2 minutes. Okay, so let's imagine that you've been quiet in quiet time for 2 minutes. Okay, Tyson, you've been quiet in quiet time. Quiet time's over, you can come out now. Okay, pick up your toys, please, and put them back in the red box. Oh, great tidying up, Tyson. Okay, that's over. So take a seat, let's go through how that went. So the steps that I've followed there are, I've given an instruction, I've waited for 5 seconds, haven't done as I've asked, I've waited again, repeated my instruction, and then taken you to quiet time, and then brought you back out from quiet time and asked you again to tidy up your toys and follow that up with praise. Any thoughts? Any questions?
No, it seems pretty.
Okay, you're ready to give it a go. All right, so it's your turn now.
Okay.
Okay, let's start the role play.
Tyson, it's time to go. You need to put your blocks back in the red box. Tyson, look at me. It's time to go. You need to put your red blocks back in the box. Tyson, Mummy's asked you twice now and you still haven't done what I've asked, so you need to come to quiet time. Tyson, you need to stay in quiet time now for 2 minutes. Okay, you've been quiet in there for 2 minutes. Okay, Tyson, you've been quiet in quiet time. You can come out now. Okay, Tyson, I now want you to put the blocks away. Well done. Very nicely putting them away.
Finished? Okay. So how did that go?
Good. I found after the first instruction that I don't think I waited long enough before I gave you the second instruction.
Let's start with what went well.
What went well? Well, I gave you a clear instruction. I got down on your level and called your name. Then when I repeated the instruction, I actually touched you and got your attention that you looked at me.
Yeah, it was good.
I then waited and then I said, well, okay, you haven't done. So, and then I took you to quiet time.
Excellent. And you remained nice and calm all the way through. Really even voice, it was great. Okay, so in terms of something that you might do differently?
I'd say, again, working on that praise, make it more clear
Okay.
and sort of thing, and just making sure that I do wait for you to respond.
Great. Great work. You went through that really well. So, in what situations might you be able to use this kind of routine?
Oh, definitely with tidying up.
Yeah, that's a good one for you. Yeah. Any other situations?
TV.
Okay. What about the TV?
Well, actually turning the TV off or turning it down. Is
Okay, all right. So that's another situation you can use it in. Okay. So when might you like to start?
Oh, today.
Okay, straight away. Good on you, Rose. Yeah, we did that really well, so I look forward to hearing how it goes at home. Yeah, and seeing whether he's following your instructions and giving that a descriptive praise. Good job.
No, wait. No, you only put one down. You wait. Duck, a pig. No. Look, that's a duck and that's a pig. That's not a snap. They're not the same, are they? Cow. And a donkey. And a duck. And a duck. There's 2 ducks. Matthew, hang on. Matthew got it. Russ, stop. Settle down. Matthew won the snap. Good boy, Matt. That was very clever. No, you don't take Mum's. You just wait your turn. Okay, Matthew, you won. You'll go. You put a card down. Oh, well, Mum will start. A sheep. What's that? How many sheep are there? No, Russ. Look, 1 sheep snap. There's 2. No, they're Mum's. Mum won those. I won those. Because Mummy got snapped first. Sheep. What's that? No, it's a horse. Your turn, Matt. What are you going to put down? No, wait for Matthew's turn. Cow. My turn. You're waiting your turn. No, Matt. Leave the cow there. Okay. Sheep and a pig. You going to have a turn, Matt? It's not a snap. Look, there's a sheep and a pig. Okay? They're not the same, are they? No. Okay. Well, that was pretty good. You got a couple of snaps, didn't you? Matthew got a big snap. Oh, are they for me? Thank you. Okay, do you want to play it again? Or do you want to play something different? What are you going to play?
Play. Oh, hide and seek.
Hide and seek. Oh, not this afternoon. No, not today.
Have you played though?
No, Play-Doh had to go away, darling. It got a bit yucky. It got caught in the rain. It's all wet. I had to throw it out.
A puzzle.
Some puzzles.
Yes,
Well,
puzzle.
oh, you want the bananas puzzle? I'll get the bananas puzzle for you.
Banana puzzle. Banana puzzle. Sorry.
Watch where you're walking, please. Come on. No kicking.
Bye. Okay.
Okay. Help me pack away all the snack first, or we don't play puzzles.
No.
No, you can't play puzzles till you help me put away all the snack.
And
No, come on, help me pick up, Nat. Come on, I'll pick up.
no.
Yes, you can do it. I know you can do it. Oh, you can go in your room, Matthew. If you're going to carry on like that, there's no puzzles for you. Go on, go in your room now.
No.
You either put them in the box, or you go in your room. Russ, let Matthew put some in. Thank you.
Five. Five.
Yes, thank you.
Three.
Thank you. You're going to put it away for me. Thank you. Okay. Got it in there?
Yes.
Rightio.
Ow.
Hurt your head. Give it a rub. Oh,
The piece is still there.
okay. Well, one goes over there. Okay, wait a minute. Wait. There's a bit missing. Well, you can have. Oh, there it is. You want that one? We'll do the one with the teddies, Russ. Okay?
So how do you think this will go at home?
I can't see it working at the
Yeah.
moment, no.
Yeah. What concerns you about the routine?
Well, there's no way if I ask Tyson to get up off the carpet or to go to quiet time that he's going to do it. He'll
Okay.
just sit there.
Yeah. So he'll just sit there. What will he do?
Oh, he'll just sit there and scream and kick and
Yeah.
carry on and tell me, no.
Yeah. So you've had lots of experience with this, haven't you? Of asking him to do things and him not doing as you've asked. Yeah. So take him to quiet time or time out is likely to have the same response.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. And it's really hard to move them into following an instruction like that, especially when we've had such a long history of struggling with him about that issue. Yeah.
And see, it's also for myself to try and remain calm while I'm doing it. I mean, there's a million things that have got to be done,
Yeah.
and he's done something wrong, so you need to, get him to go to quiet time so that he learns that his behaviour is not acceptable.
Yes.
But then you're struggling with this 4-year-old to get him to go to time out.
Yeah. Yep. So it's hard when you're feeling stressed, and it's hard to stay calm when you're boiling up inside, I suppose. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a real struggle for a lot of parents who've got a lot of things on their plate. To get their children to do as they ask and to follow through with this routine and to keep calm when there's a million things going on at once. Just wondering what we can do about that. In terms of remaining calm, just thinking in the routine, thinking back to remember there's an opportunity to wait for 5 seconds after giving the instruction. What might you be able to do in that 5 seconds to try and keep calm?
Close my eyes, deep breaths.
Yeah. Yep, take a nice big deep breath. Be saying to yourself, Okay, keep cool. You can do this. And then repeat the instruction calmly. Yeah. And when getting him up to move to quiet time, it sounds like he's not responding very well to your instructions at the moment. Wondering if there's something else we can do to physically help him go to quiet time. And I'm thinking something like moving behind him and placing your arms just sort of underneath his shoulders there and walking him to quiet time. So do you think that would work for you?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I feel it might. I can, give it a try.
Okay, so you'd be willing to give the deep breaths a try and using a bit of physical guidance? Yeah, and we can see whether that works for you during the week. And I'd be really happy to review that with you next week. Look forward to it.